Nevada's drug-sniffing canines take millions of dollars in narcotics off the streets and seize millions in cash for the state. Now, NHP troopers say they're turning in their leashes to protect their dogs and your civil rights. We'll have an exclusive investigation, and we'll take you behind the day's political headlines. It's all next on Face to Face.
This is Face to Face with John Ralston.
Welcome to Face. We'll bring you newsmakers and commentary you won't find anywhere else. Let's start with a look behind today's political headlines. Nevada State Republican Party made it official, filing a complaint with the Office of Congressional Ethics against Congresswoman Shelley Berkeley. The GOP alleges Berkeley abused her position by advocating for interests that benefit her husband. He's a kidney doctor. The state's Democrats shot back with this video detailing more than $100,000 in contributions Dean Heller received from Big Oil. Not to be outdone, the Republicans responded the attack on Heller was unfounded. And so it goes, and will go, for the next 14 months. Anyone else as thrilled as I am? Governor Brian Sandoval is picking former Las Vegas Chamber leader Steve Hill for a new post. Hill, a frequent guest on Face to Face, will serve as interim director of the Board of Economic Development, designed to, what else? Attract jobs. My guess is the estimable Hill will lose the interim part of his title after the board submits his name and a few others to the governor for the permanent job. He's a great choice, but he has his work cut out selling a state with a broken economy, little funding for schools or infrastructure, and, up until this point, a scattered vision of diversifying the economy. He'll need all the luck he can get. The legal battle over where to separate the state's congressional and legislative districts is far from resolved. Today, Carson City Judge Todd Russell ordered 2 public hearings be held in October, one in the north and one in the south. A 3-member panel appointed by the judge will then formulate some plans, and the parties will return to court in November. At issue is whether Hispanic voters should be drawn into one district. So now we have the public giving input, and those hearings will be political dog and pony shows that illuminate and affect little. And we have 3 guys picked by the judge who will decide everything. A trio of quality choices, to be sure, but without much accountability. And all because the governor and the Gang of 63 didn't do their jobs this spring. We'll be lucky if the lines are drawn by when next spring dawns and filing opens. They use money seized from drug dealers to fight the war on drugs, and they generate millions for the state through cash seizures. And now, Public Safety Director Chris Perry says the resignations of the Highway Patrol's canine troopers was based on a misunderstanding. It's an exclusive story you'll see only on Face to Face. That program is in jeopardy, and Metro Police are defending their own canine program against charges of animal abuse, civil rights violations, and conflicts of interest. My executive producer, Dana Gentry, has the story. Dana?
Thanks, John. You may call him man's best friend, but to Nevada Highway Patrol canine troopers, he's best friend, valued partner, roommate, and family member. And now the state's canine handlers are turning in their leashes and their dogs, saying they fear an effort to combine the state's program with local police departments threatens their dog safety and your civil rights. With a tireless work ethic and an insatiable appetite for sniffing out drugs, the state's canines are the heart and soul of a program that seized millions of dollars in dangerous drugs, meth, heroin, cocaine, PCP, and millions in cash, money that's returned to the state once the drug dealers go to prison. But this week, the state's canine troopers, citing much regret in letters we obtained exclusively, turned in their leashes, resigning from their assignments and the extra pay that goes with it, thousands of dollars to cover overtime and help defray the costs of caring for their colleague. Now the dogs, who have proved so reliable that some courts substitute their alerts for search warrants, face an uncertain future. It began when Governor Brian Sandoval named this man, Chris Perry, to head up the Department of Public Safety. Perry immediately launched an internal investigation against a canine trooper, alleging the trooper tried to topple the administration through the political influence of Friends for Canine, a nonprofit that donated nearly $200,000 in dogs and equipment to the state.
If I give you some names, can you tell me what their involvement was with the canine program?
Sure.
Monty Miller. Mike, is it Nigro?
Nigro.
How about Sig Rogich?
Miller, Nigro, and Rogich are politically connected Republicans on the Friends for Canine board. Perry, the troopers claim, doomed the canine patrol to fail by decentralizing training and abandoning the state's significant investment in a standardized program. The NHP is cross-training its dogs with local police departments, but canine troopers say it's neither healthy nor easy to teach an old dog new tricks. And they claim the Metropolitan Police Department's canine handlers infringe on the public's civil rights by slicing into suspicious packages at FedEx warehouses like this one in order to release the scent of drugs when dogs fail to alert on their own, and by causing dogs to falsely alert, leading to unlawful searches and cases thrown out in court. Metro Sheriff Doug Gillespie was not available for an interview, but the department denies the allegations, as it does charges that Metro cops discipline their dogs through vicious abuse, hanging them by their leashes and kicking them too. And the NHP troopers claim Metro's program is fraught with conflicts of interest. Metro cop and canine trainer Mel English moonlights as a dog trainer. His partner, Mark Ristoli, sells dogs to Metro. NHP troopers claim that's a conflict of interest that's leading to subpar dogs getting on the force. Public Safety Director Chris Perry told me today that he brought the troops together yesterday, that the resignations were based on a misunderstanding, and that they've agreed to hold off on their resignations. However, we understand those troopers are sticking to their guns. Their concern now is the fate of their dogs. And John, you're going to hear from the man who started up that program in a little while.
I read a couple of those resignation letters. They were pretty strong. And I doubt that those guys are going to reconsider based on any kind of misunderstanding. But you and I have been around a while, Dana, maybe too long. There are these disputes between law enforcement agencies all the time. There's petty jealousies. There's all kinds of stuff. So you don't think this has anything to do with just some rivalry between NHP and Metro, do you?
Well, I think that there are always egos involved when you deal with something like this, but this seems to come down to differences in this training approach because there are things that can affect these prosecutions later if certain procedures are not adhered to, and that seems